Hi, you guys. I want you to know that I woke up this morning and the first thing I usually do is get on my cell phone. That's not a good thing to do, but I had a message from YouTube and it said, "Congratulations, you surpassed 100 subscribers." And I was just like so happy. I just made my day, and I just wanted to thank you guys because you guys have been so sweet, so nice. Your comments have been so supportive. I just want you to know that I notice all of your comments and I appreciate you. And if you want to see me do something different or let me know what you would like to see. And if you let me know what you would like to see, what kind of video or anything you would like me to talk about, let me know, okay? And I will try my best and do that for you. Today I wanted to review, just not a big review, just go over a couple of points on Trisha Paytas's two books, The History of My Insanity and The Stripper Diaries. As many of you know by now, she has changed characters, and so she's done with the one who was, the one with the chicken fingers and sitting on the floor and the sunglasses, and she's done with that. And she used a transition, meaning, she went from that to where she is now by saying that she's going through therapy and that she went to the hospital taking care of babies, which gullible me believed her. But then, I start reading your comments and you guys just all opened my mind to other possibilities. And I know that the truth is, if she was taking care of babies, knowing we all know how she loves that camera, she would be vlogging, "Okay, you guys, here I am, going to the hospital," or she would be, making mention of it again. So that's how I think I've become to know that, or actually realized that she is playing characters, is when she does not mention it again. Which brings me to another point, is that she's oblivious to how her actions negatively affect a lot of her young viewers. I have gotten some comments, and I've gotten one personal email, and I've gotten 3 comments from people, okay? Whether it was from a personal email or, a comment on social media, telling me that they are and have been suffering or have gotten ill, physically ill, from watching her. One of the things that I wanted to share with you that I find really interesting is one of them told me that when they comment, someone says to them, "Oh, why don't you just, don't watch her. Why don't you just leave?" And they said to me, "That's difficult. It's hard not to watch her because it's like addicting." And they've tried not to watch her, but it's really addicting. And when she is playing a certain character and is doing horrible things to herself, then they feel like they're in with her, going through her mental illness or whatever it is that she's portraying. So unfortunately, her antics are affecting many younger viewers in a negative way. And I think that if she had an awareness of her different personalities, which, by the way, she admits many times in this book, right, that she is not well mentally, and she does admit to multiple personalities. She admits to an array of different types of mental illnesses. And in this book, innocent me, I am just so gullible sometimes because I'm like, "Oh, I had no idea." But in this book, in several different places, in her own words, I'm not putting any words in here, And that's not what this video is going to be about. So if you guys want me to read the parts in this book where she says that, she says or alludes very, very clearly to the use of meth, heroin, crack, these drugs, let me know. And I mean, it's easy. It's not a very, it's not a thick book. And I have highlighted many areas in here, and I'll be glad to read them to you. But today we're going to talk about, in my other video, I mentioned that she stated, I wanted to make, to be clear, I wanted to make a clarification here on something that I mentioned on another video. And that was in this book here called The Stripper Diaries, in which I'm going to read her words that she wrote. She said that I did find humor in some of my entries. Maybe it's because I lived it, and looking back on what I thought was the lowest point in my life, in the grandest scheme of things, I realized it was just a bump in the road. It's something I'd figure I'd just share with you guys. And then she writes, again, this is just a small snippet of my life as a stripper and an escort. I just put that in there. And an escort. That's not in here, but she does talk about it in here. She was a stripper. She was an escort. And, and all these entries were written in the heat of the moment. Then she says, to learn more about me and my life as a whole, she refers back to the history of my insanity, goes more into who I am as a person and not who I was as a stripper. So who she was as a stripper, in my opinion, makes more sense as to who she is now. In other words, what she went through, what she put herself through, how she chose to live her life when she was a stripper, beginning at the age of 18. To me, if you look at that and look at how she is today, the correlation is a lot stronger than her core initiations, which is what I call them, from this book, except for one thing, in my opinion. In her opinion, she does think that this one thing that I'm going to read to you in her words was bad. She says it was bad, but she doesn't emphasize that it was worse than the divorce. Now, up to the age of 3 years old, she says she was very happy. Everything was fine. And then her parents got divorced at 3 years old. And what happened was, at one point, she witnessed her mom at the front door asking her father to come back into their lives, and he refused. He said no, and he came back over here to LA to live. And at that age, she and her brother felt that they took that as abandonment. And so she puts that a lot of those daddy issues of abandonment stems from there. But her issues that she has now, and the specific issue that I want to talk about today, which has to do with I believe that this situation that I'm going to read to you right now caused a lot of it. Okay, is the situation that I'm addressing is her not addressing, this is what it is, okay? Her not addressing, not talking about her different characters. Now, she makes one sentence about them. I have two things to say, okay? She makes a sentence about them. The sentence that she says is, like for instance, this happened to me. I'm not going to tell you right now what happened to me. I'll tell you in another video. And that other video never comes. It's the same thing when she was in the bathroom and did that whole thing about seeing someone in the bathroom, that person in the bathroom, and she was on the floor in the bathroom. She said, she did make up another story. She said, I went to the hospital, I fell on my head, blah, 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 blah. And she said, I'll tell you more details later. She never really addresses it. She never says, in other words, it would be wonderful for all of her viewers. And I think her viewers wouldn't be as ill, or it wouldn't be so negative on her viewers if she was to say, okay, look, you guys, I have multiple personalities, which she does talk about in this book. Once she talks about it, I have multiple personalities, and I just want to let you know that sometimes, Jacqueline comes out, okay, because it's good to name them. That's the first step, is naming them, okay? Sometimes Jacqueline comes out, and, that's who you saw. When you saw me in the kitchen floor and I was doing that thing with the glasses and my head tilt back and eating the chips, and that was Jacqueline, okay? And, kind of like starting not only to build a relationship between Trisha and Jacqueline and all these other personalities that she has, but also to help her audience and step up to become that better person. I believe that's asking too much of her. In life, we can only give what we have. And she doesn't have it to give. This is the best that you can see. The other thing that's really interesting is that looking at everything from a whole, these young subscribers that are addicted to her, if you're addicted to her and you feel it's affecting your life in a negative way, it's like being in an abusive relationship. The difference is that most abusers in an abusive relationship who are manipulating you, lying to you, dragging you down, right? Most of them apologize. And Trisha did apologize one time, but it wasn't to her viewers. It was to Sean, because Sean had said, don't ever make a negative video. If something ever happens, don't make a negative video about us. And she did a string, many Snapchats and videos negative about Sean. And then she came out and she said, I'm sorry, I'm crazy, bitch sometimes. And she calls herself all these names, and then she doesn't understand when viewers tell her how she's taught us who she is. She doesn't get that part, right? Okay, so before I keep going on a tangent, let's get back to today's point, which let me just dive right in. It's not very long. It's her senior year of high school. You're 18 years old in your senior year of high school. You know what? I need to put, where did I do with here they are. Okay. I need to put these on so that I can see it correctly and I can tell you. Okay. Hold on. There we go. It's her senior year of high school. And this is what she says. Senior year was my living hell. That's when I turned from emotionally unstable to full on Trish needs help. I just wanted to be done with small towns and small-minded people and go out and start auditioning and living my dreams of becoming famous. I mean, being famous meant attention, and that's all I really wanted, just to make money being me. Kim Kardashian beat me to the punch. Damn, if only I were old enough for a sex tape. Okay, she wrote that when she was 18. Now I am, okay, let me just get through this because okay. This was the year my mom met her boyfriend from hell. We'll call him Tiger. Long story short, but just think of the famous tiger on a cereal box. I'm not quite sure what that means. I didn't look on the internet to look at the famous tiger on the cereal box. I really don't understand that line. I don't understand if the famous tiger on the cereal box was a person or if it was a character, and if that actor, that person is who she's talking about, I'm not sure. My mom started yet another job at a country club about 30 minutes away, and this is where she met Tiger. Tiger started spending the nights in our 2-bedroom house immediately. He would get out of the shower in the mornings and walk around our house naked. He sat on my bed naked. He stole DVDs of mine. My mom never believed me. I mean, I did have a past of lying, but I never lied about Tiger or about any of my step-parents, for that matter. I may like attention, but I'm not going to say someone did something to me when they didn't. I've always been Catholic and believe in do unto others. Plus, I always was aware that karma does come around, so I'm not going to ruin lives. We'd get into big arguments about Tiger and how I didn't feel comfortable with him in the house, and my mom would tell me to get a life, move out, and leave her alone. Okay, here we go. This is the part that really I find disturbing. She and Tiger, I'm sorry. Before I read this part, as I'm reading this to you, I want you to pretend that you're 18 years old and this is happening to you. Okay? She and Tiger would have sex on the couch when I was coming home from football games. She'd have sex in the living room so loudly that my sister and I couldn't sleep, and she didn't care. She stumbled in my room drunk one night, saying she was closing my door so she and Tiger could have loud, crazy sex. She was wearing my Steppenwolf t-shirt. She was wearing my Steppenwolf theater shirt with no pants, which I later burned. I thought my mom was such a whore, and I thought she was absolutely repulsive. Okay. I didn't have a great childhood. I didn't. And I've written about some of my core initiations in my book. Personally, I was never sexually molested, and never once does Trisha say in this book that she was sexually molested. She never says that. When I was 17, I did go live with my girlfriend and her mother, and it was in another city. I went to a different high school for I think my sophomore year, and this girlfriend's mother had a boyfriend, and he stayed over. And I remember, and you were, what are we, 17? Yeah. So I remember my girlfriend walking around the house with him present in her underwear and, her pajama top or a t-shirt, but just her underwear. And I remember at 17 years old being mortified of that. I mean, inside I thought, I just thought that's so wrong. But to have your mom at 18 years old having sex with someone and telling you she's having sex and being drunk and coming in your room with no pants on, no panties on, that whole thing to me is exceptionally damaging. And telling, and I'm just very, very shocked. Her mom has also recently, in recent years, was very vocal on social media about having her vagina surgically reconstructed to look perfect or beautiful. And she said that it's funny, even me talking about this out loud, it's just crazy. I mean, I think some things don't need to be talked about like this, but I mean, she just said she was glad she did it because she likes sex. Okay, I know I'm probably old-fashioned. My mom was like really old-fashioned, And I grew up in a very strict household, but all of this is enough to, I think, affect anyone's life in a very interesting way. You don't have to, it doesn't matter what happens to you, right? It's how we process it, how we not only deal with it at the time, but how you deal with it later in your life, if you even deal with it, right? And so when I see Trisha doing things like, eating and she's in her underwear or doing some, crazy stuff that many of her viewers interpret as having a lot of confidence to come on camera half naked and regardless of her weight or whatever, to me, it's weird. And to me, it's just, not only is it weird, it shows that there is a lack of social class and social grace. And I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I'm just still, that was from this book, okay? When I start, sharing little brief snippets of things in this book, this is the book that I was just so shocked about. I just wanted to share that story with you. Maybe it'll help you to understand why Trisha Paytas is the way she is. Certainly, it's given me a little insight into her lack of honoring, worshiping, and knowing that your body is yours. It's not everybody else's. It's yours. And yes, you can do whatever you want to with it. But when your audience are little girls, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and there's no filter on YouTube, there is a certain responsibility that comes with that. I wish you excellent mental health. I wish you well, and have a wonderful day. I love you guys, and thanks for watching. Bye. I'll see you in my next video.